Hey guys, it's me, Mega B, and you're probably wondering, why are you filming in your car? Because my movie got over and it's almost 11 o'clock at night and all of my family, except for my dad, are sleeping. Fortunately, they all went to bed without telling me, and so now I have to make it in my car. The lighting sucks, but this is what you guys are gonna get. This is the rough stuff, like I just got home. So, without spoilers, my overall feeling on the movie is I really enjoyed it. I think I hyped it up too much, that it fell a little short for me on like pacing wise, because I felt it was a slow pacing movie at the beginning of it, but overall it kind of was like click click. They moved into one thing after another quite quickly, and I feel like Michael Bay's other films, they didn't really do that. It was more of like there was a more decent pacing. This one fell a little bit flat on pacing wise. I didn't hate the pacing, I just, the first like half an hour of the movie, or like the first half of the movie before all the action, kind of just fell a little bit flat for me, but overall I really enjoyed it. There was a lot more robot interaction in this one that just thoroughly had me laughing and like crying. It was just great. I think the one thing that the movie lacked, that I'm not going to go into too much detail, is a specific character. We all knew that, but the movie just jumps right in with action, and I love it. The story arc, the storyline, was probably the best storyline that these films have had. It was great. It had a nice pacing to the story where you knew what was going on. You could follow it. You're like, this makes sense. The one storyline in all the Transformers films that kind of fell a little flat for me was the Age of Extinction storyline. Just fell a little bit flat for me. This storyline had a lot more to it, and since it's centered around mythology of like the medieval times, I love the medieval times. I'm a huge history buff, so this appealed to me in like a lot of senses, and it was fabulous. I loved it. There were a lot more robot interactions. Mark Wahlberg's character was amazing. I loved the Cade Yeager storyline a lot more than I loved the Sam Witwicky one. Isabella Moner's character, really enjoyed her. Loved having Colonel Lennox back. Sir Anthony Hopkins, he was wonderful in the film. I was cracking up. His butler Cogman, I was cracking up over Cogman too. Just everything he said was perfect. So that is all I can really say about the non-spoilery section. But if I had to rank it in my top list of Transformers, the third one will always be my favorite. I would have to rank it. Dark of the Moon is my favorite. The Last Knight would be second. Age of Extinction is third. The first Transformers film is fourth, and the fifth one is the second one. The second one is my least favorite out of all of them. The Last Knight did not blow me away as much as Age of Extinction, or as much as the Dark of the Moon did. Dark of the Moon will still be my favorite because it's the one that got me into the fandom, and it just made me so happy. So I would give The Last Knight probably an 8 out of 10. I'm leaning more towards a 8.5 out of 10. But overall, loved it, enjoyed it. It was great. A lot of people were giving it crap, but I'm like, you know what? A lot of people give Michael Bay's movies crap. I don't care.
Warning, spoilers for Transformers 5 are ahead. If you have not seen the movie, please click away.
Now we're going to go into spoilers. I'm not going to talk about too much, because there's so much, it's like a lot to take in that you have to go see it twice. Oh, the movie opens up with this medieval battle, and I love mythology and I love medieval things, so this was an interesting battle scene for me. It was really interesting. It reminded me a lot, not a lot, but like similar to Lord of the Rings, which I really digged. Speaking of story arc, I'm going all over the place. The story arc was really well done. There's mythology and how Vivian, she's the descendant of Merlin, and Cade is like the last knight. I always thought that Optimus was going to be the last knight, but actually Cade Yeager is. Really enjoyed that. And then after all the knight mythology stuff, we open with, we see Anthony Hopkins is narrating for a little bit, and then we see Optimus floating through space. And I didn't cry as much as I cried when I saw the first trailer because I already saw it, but I was shaking when we saw Optimus floating. And then he goes to the creators, and let me tell you something. I hate Quintessa. I hate her with a passion. I hate Starscream a lot. I think I hate Quintessa more than Starscream. At the end of the film, when Optimus, like, kicked her and then said, "Say hello to my friend B," and then B shoots her, I wanted to laugh. I ended up high-fiving my friend next to me because she died. I was like, this bitch needs to go. I hate her. Every time she would electrocute Optimus, I'd like die inside. Like, to see when we first saw Optimus like alive again, landing on Cybertron, he's like, what the hell happened to my planet? He confronts Quintessa. What the fuck happened to my planet? I was like, Big Rig, I am so happy to see you. I've missed you so much. When we get to Optimus, all the trailers, we saw him with that red splotch on the side of his face. I don't know how he got that. Quintessa gave that to him. And when his eyes turned purple on the big screen, I was like, oh God, no. And then he refers to himself as Nemesis Prime. Those writers in Michael Bay looked at different folklore for Transformers and came up with Nemesis Prime. I loved it. I loved it. Nemesis Prime. Yes, please. And then when Quintessa referred to our planet Earth as being Unicron, I was like, Transformers Prime. I love that story arc. Please, yes. Thank you for bringing in Transformers Prime references. And then all the Autobots again. Bumblebee's technically leading the team, and Bumblebee and Cogman stole the show for me. Bumblebee had great lines. I still love the line and we saw at the MTV Movie Awards where Bumblebee's like, what the hell, after Sir Anthony Hopkins' tank fires a missile. I love that. Another scene that we have to talk about with Bumblebee is when Optimus is about to stab him. Now, before I knew anything about a couple weeks ago, or I think about a week and a half ago, Speedy, the Speed of Light, you may know her. If you don't, you're missing out. She's a great girl, love her. She told me a theory about what if Bumblebee speaks with his real voice and that snaps Optimus out of his trance. And I'm like, that could actually happen. And it fucking did! And I was just like, oh my God! Oh my God! Bumblebee said, Optimus, it's me, your friend Bumblebee! And Optimus, his eyes flash, and they turn back blue, and I'm like, oh. The only thing that bothers me about that in a lot of the posters we saw, Bumblebee had no mouth guard. But he did in the movie. But after he talked to Optimus in his real voice, he went back to his radio voice. The hell, Michael Bay? No. And then at the end of the film again, Bumblebee spoke when Optimus and Bumblebee were taking out Quintessa at the end of the film. Bumblebee says, sting like a bee, after he shoots Quintessa, and I'm like, yes. Yes. The dialogue for the robots in this film was one of my favorites. Like, to see Optimus again, and then you see the pain in his heart, like, oh my God, what have I done? I literally was crying. My friend was looking at me next to me. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm okay or not. It was just, Besides Bumblebee not being able to officially talk, that was one of my biggest pet peeves with the movie, was that the humans took over a lot more than any of the other Transformer films, I felt like. And I felt like when there were great action shots or like great action scenes going on, they would jump to a less action-y shot. And I'm like, no, Michael Bay. No, I've had issues with Michael Bay's films, but I've had the most issues in this one. But it was still like 3 years of waiting for this film was still so good. Like, Crosshairs had some great lines. I still love the line about the bedtime stories to Izzy's character, which I love Izzy's character. A lot of people don't, but I think her and Vivian were great additions to the film because they were not just sex icons for the males going to see the movie. They were a lot more than that. They were kick-ass characters. Vivian actually played a role in the film, and Izzy didn't really do much, but she was still kick-ass. Love Squeaks. Love him to death. Have to get a figure of him. But Crosshairs just had some great scenes, and then he's like, stop trying to be a leader, Bumblebee. And Bumblebee's like, fuck you. And then they just start fighting. I'm like, yes. Yes. Bumblebee and Crosshairs had some great lines in this film. Like, I love Crosshairs. He was so great. And the Autobots had a lot more screen time. Like, each character had their own show. They stole the show at a certain point. I love that. I love Colonel Lennox, but he didn't really do anything. And the whole bringing Seymour back, Seymour didn't really do anything. He was just character in the movie, and I didn't really like it. I was just like, no, we don't need him. Go away. There's so much more I want to talk about, but like, I need to go see it a second time. We'll see you guys with another video soon. Definitely gonna go see Transformers 5 tomorrow night, Thursday night, probably Friday night, and then I'm gonna go again next Tuesday with my family. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys very soon. Have a lovely evening. Bye. Some things that I forgot to say to you from last night when I went to go see Transformers the last night is there was a scene in the movie where I think they're still at the junkyard. There's a scene in the movie where Bumblebee dances and he's moving his hips and it looks kind of erotic the way he's moving his hips, and I'm like, damn, B, you fine. I love that. That was great. Because in the 4th Transformers film, there was a scene cut from the movie where Bumblebee gets up and dances with Tessa. I loved that scene, but the one in the last night was a lot better because it was just Bumblebee and it was a close-up shot. It was really close up, so I loved it. Is the Decepticons. Now, the Decepticons had a lot more screen time and a lot more personality. They actually had names, and they all had, like, an introduction. Megatron wanted to get his crew back. And Nitro Zeus. Now, I don't know who the hell Nitro Zeus was. I just know he looked like Shockwave, and he was by far my favorite Decepticon in the film. He was like a gangster Autobot. He was like a gangster Decepticon, and that was too cool. That was great. I loved him. Speaking of Decepticons, Barricade. I had a little bit of an issue with Barricade in this movie. I love Barricade. When I heard that he was coming back for the last night, I was like, oh, we're gonna get this cool, like, fight scene of Bumblebee and Barricade. We didn't even get anything like that. All we got was a Bumblebee and Barricade chase scene, and they weren't even chasing each other in robot mode, which is vehicle mode. It wasn't like anything too... They were just going through the streets of London, and it wasn't anything too exciting. And I'm like, really? It's the first one. We have been waiting for a Bumblebee and Barricade rumble, because they had a rumble in the first one, and this one would have... In the last night, this would have been like Barricade's revenge. He would have beaten Bumblebee, but then I guess Michael Bay didn't put it in there because Bumblebee was going to get beat up with Optimus, but it's like, you could still do it. And that kind of disappointed me. But the really interesting thing is, I don't know that's who the voice actor of Barricade was in the last night, but he sounded very similar to Ironhide. I'm very curious to see who it was, so I'll have to look that up. Another thing that I should have realized before, at the end battle where Optimus rips off Bumblebee's wings, I wasn't thinking, oh wait, in the one shot where TFR shoots Bumblebee, he ends up reforming himself back together. I never really thought about that in the last battle when Optimus tore his wings off. Oh, he put them back on, and I'm like, oh thank God. Something else I forgot to mention, Hot Rod. I loved Hot Rod. I loved him. Hot Rod was great. He had some great scenes, and then we did that flashback scene to when Bumblebee and him were fighting Nazis. Loved it. I was hoping to see a little bit more Hot Rod and Bumblebee, like, dialogue, but Hot Rod was great. I loved him, and honestly, if he did become the next Prime, I would be okay with it. But I fucking love movie Hot Rod. He was beautiful. I love him. And I'd want to be kidnapped by him any fucking